Welcome back. We're here at the New England Pro Wrestling Fan Fest, and I'm with the one and only, the living legend, Larry Zbyszko.
Well, thank you very much. It's nice to still be living and be here. You know, I love meeting all the fans now. You know, in the old days, we never got to meet them because they were trying to stab me and all that.
Oh, yeah, that's a problem.
But now it's fun to look at their face, and it kind of looks like they've seen Bugs Bunny in real life. And
right.
It's a good time.
Yeah. Excellent time. A lot of old faces here. I'm sure you're seeing a lot of old.
Don't say that about
well,
me.
what I mean is old friends.
Greg Valentine.
Good friends. I did. We had a good interview with Greg.
Old face.
But here you are here today. What are you doing at this point in your life?
As little as possible.
It's good to be retired.
You know what? I'm kind of, I was, and I played a lot of golf, but then now I'm back with the WWE. So I'm doing some stuff at their new facility in Orlando by my house with their performance center, and doing a bunch of shows for their new network. And so it's kind of like the full circle of life. So now I'm back where I started, and it's cool.
Well, you know what? You have a lot of good advice for today's wrestlers. If you were to give out one piece of advice to somebody from today's pro wrestling, what would it be?
I guess, my advice would be just watch me on YouTube and study everything I did and said.
Here's my co-host.
Are you kidding me?
What's the matter?
Oh, you got Rick the table?
This is supposed to be my interview.
You know, you did knock over his coffee earlier, so I didn't think you wanted to do it with you.
Yes, I'm clumsy today,
Dangerous
folks.
man. Dangerous
Yeah,
man.
I am. You know,
Well,
Killer
I didn't mean
Cole.
to jump in on Atlanta because I know that you have a lot to say to Larry's.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
One of my favorites from the 70s,
Good.
Leonard Kaplan. Of course, the feud with Bruno and everything. Now, do you ever make joint appearances or anything these days?
Joint appearances?
Yeah.
I don't smoke pot. What are you talking about? Oh, you mean with Bruno?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes.
Well, you know what? It's kind of weird. It's kind of a cool story, actually, but after all the years, because there was a lot of, animosity for years. But it's kind of weird how it kind of worked out at the end, because I was pretty instrumental in getting Bruno into the Hall of Fame and working some things out with that. Yeah, so, me and Bruno kind of buried the hatchet, but it took a while.
Yeah.
But as time went by, things went cool, and the WWE's become a great company, and Bruno saw that. So, it wound up being like a really happy ending.
Right.
And it was kind of weird because it was one of them things in wrestling that when it happened, it wasn't planned. It was just ridiculous. It got so huge, and people tried to shoot me. I got stabbed, and cars were smashed.
Wow.
And now at the end of the cycle, I'm the guy that worked everything out to get him back. So it worked out really good.
Let's see. Let's test your memory now.
Uh-oh.
All right. We have a mutual friend, okay? And it's a woman. And she says that she always told you were the most intelligent wrestler. You're too intelligent, too educated, too much of a vocabulary to be a wrestler.
And who said that?
You don't know?
No.
Medusa.
The Medusa?
Yeah.
Isn't she sweet? Well, you know what? I'm weird. A lot of the wrestlers, most of them are crazy. And some of them are second generation. But I was raised in, like, the suburbs from the upper middle class where, I was raised on the golf course. But I didn't want to be in that system watching it grow up. I don't want to have to sit in the car and go at 5 in the morning with a suit and tie in an office.
Right.
So I basically joined the circus.
Right.
So when I came into wrestling, I was, college educated and suburban, high class raised. And so I was like in the show watching all these crazy guys, but I was watching from within, but I was really never, but Medusa was smart to pick that out. Yeah.
You don't remember her saying it, though.
No, but thanks. Keep it coming. Yeah.
Do you have any Medusa stories? Because she's very elusive.
You know what? I never wrestled Medusa.
Well, you were both in the AWA. You started in the AWA.
Yeah, she started there. The only thing I remember about the Medusa was she was very athletic and very impressive for a woman. Because back in those days, there wasn't that many lady wrestlers like today. You got all the divas and that. And Medusa, for her time, she was very impressive, very athletic. And then I thought it was pretty cool even afterwards when she started driving all those monster trucks.
Yeah.
She was like a rugged chick. She was a cool chick. And it's not easy to make it in this business back then. So she did. She did, but she was an impressive chick.
We're going to one of those shows right after this. Are you going?
One of what shows?
One of her monster truck shows is in Foxborough, Mass.
Damn it! I'll be home floating in my pool. Son of a gun. Otherwise, I'd be there.
That's tough. That's tough.
Yeah, keep the tan going.
Tell us about your career as a commentator, because I think that's the last thing that people remember. In WCW, you lasted quite a while.
Well, yeah, and again, it's something else, I never thought of or planned of. It was kind of I got put in a nutshell. WCW was always messed up at the top level. And when Bill Watts came in and screwed it up even worse, I took myself out of the ring. I said, oh, my knee, I'll get it fixed. So I'm sitting there, and they said, hey, can you help us out and do some voiceovers? Because we got rid of Jesse and all that. So I said, okay. So I went down while I was rehabbing my knee and did voiceovers. And it's the first time I was doing the color. And these guys came in and said, you're the greatest one we've ever heard. And I said, really? So the next thing I know, they're offering me a big contract to do the broadcasting. At first I was insulted because I said, I want to be like Bruno, and I'm winding up being like Tony Schiavone. But then, it was so ridiculous, I couldn't turn it down. But it was good timing because I was like 40, and I got out of it, before I never got big injuries and all that. And then I wanted to make more money from Turner for doing the 1 day a week. Right. So it was like a gift. And you got more publicity around all the shows. So it was just kind of like.
So is that the favorite thing you did?
No, but it was like the favorite. It was like half of it. Like being in the ring and doing the thing with Bruno, which became a part of history.
Yeah.
And being the wrestler was like one half, and then being the color man, who everybody loved and would chant. Plus, I'd come out once in a blue moon. I'd wrestle Regal, and then I wrestled Bischoff and beat him up and saved Nitro from the New World Order and had a match with Scott Hall. And so it's kind of like I had two cool halves, one wrestling and one broadcasting. So I couldn't ask for, like a cooler thing.
Yeah. Any more, Ed?
Yes, actually, Larry, I'd like to talk a little bit about the AWA and your time there. What was it like? What was the atmosphere in the AWA like towards the end?
Well, the atmosphere towards the end was pretty cool with the guys, because a lot of them were younger guys that were coming up. And it was just kind of weird with me because I married Vern's daughter. And the AWA in the last couple of years, and we were trying to get Vern to shut the door like in 1987, 1988, but he wanted to compete, so he stayed in a little longer than he should, but he had the ESPN deal. But the AWA was a great territory. It was a great territory to work in, and it was a good payday territory because unlike the Northeast, where they tax you to death with state tax and all kind of taxes, the Midwest, the promoters had a lot more money left over from the shows to split amongst the boys. Right. So it was a great place to work and make money, but then but 1990, so it was just time that the mom and pop, Vern was getting too old to compete. Yeah. There was a new nationwide, so the business was changing.
Yeah. So with the changing times, the AWA folded, the WCW was moving up, the WWF got even bigger with the with cable TV and moving on to pay-per-views and everything else.
See, the same thing happened with the NWA. The AWA and the NWA, just mom and pop, they went and WCW bought them over, so then you wound up with the two nationwide TV giants, the WWE and Turner and WCW.
Now, do you think that's what's lacking in today's wrestling, going back to the regional, where an individual, when he got a little tired in one region, could move on to another, a fresh face, if you will?
Yeah, well, it worked years ago, but those days are gone forever. I mean, it's nationwide. I mean, and it's really tough on the talent, because now if you don't make it, you're dead worldwide. There's nowhere else to go. So it's a real tough life to get a break in compared to, it was tough before, but now it's really tough. Right. So, it's a different world. I mean, I like to give people advice that want to be wrestlers, is just get an education and a job, before you try it, because it's not like you think it is.
Sounds like sound advice.
Yeah.
Larry, want to thank you very much for your time today.
Well, thank you
I
very much.
appreciate it.
Thank you.
I'll give you my PayPal. Just whiz it in.